Today I'm having coffee with Janice Sawyer from the American Red Cross. Janice, tell us a little bit about what the Red Cross does and maybe even give us a day in the life of the Red Cross.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'd like to start with what the mission of the Red Cross is. Of course, we are a humanitarian organization and the only humanitarian organization that is chartered by Congress to bring disaster relief to victims in time of need. We are, Red Cross is has celebrated over 125 years throughout the nation by doing that. We are primarily led by volunteers. Over 97% of the neighbors that respond to disasters are volunteers. In fact, in the jurisdictional counties that we serve, which are Warren, Claiborne, Issaquah, and Sharkey, there are 2 paid staff and 1 part-time staff here to cover just these 4 counties. Now imagine 82 counties in the state of Mississippi to be covered. That says a lot, and exactly what I said is true. It's neighbors helping neighbors. You and me.
Sure. You're
a volunteer, I'm sure, through the United Way, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Today has been a day in the life of what the Red Cross does on a daily basis. What you see in the paper every day about hurricanes, about flood warnings we're hearing about now, about tornadoes, they make news, but the untold story of the American Red Cross is actually what we see and hear every day with our single-family home fires. Just this morning we've had 2. There are 9 family members displaced. There was one at 5 o'clock this morning in Sharkey County at 5 a.m. There was one in Claiborne County. 5 individuals have been displaced. Now, can you imagine what it's like to try to help those families start all over again? What the Red Cross does is provide basic, immediate emergency services and we consider that within the first 72 hours of a single-family home fire.
And how do y'all get the notification, like with the fires that you had today? Who calls the Red Cross?
We have a direct rapport with our first responders, our fire chiefs in all of the counties. And I would like to commend them. They actually make our job a lot easier. The battalion chiefs will call me. They will identify how many individuals are in the home, if they need lodging. That way we are more prepared to ensure that we can service these families in a timely and efficient manner. Because it is truly devastating to see in the eyes of someone and to hear their stories, what they have to tell us. So it's very important that we keep the lines of communication open between our first responders and, of course, our partner agencies within the community. There is no one single agency that can do this alone. That's the reason it's so important through the United Way that we work with Salvation Army, with We Care, and the Food Pantry, and other agencies to help these individuals start on the road to recovery after this happens. If I could, I'd like to share some of the stuff that we do.
You brought a goodie bag.
I did bring a goodie bag.
You're the first person that's done show and tell for us.
I brought a goodie bag, and actually I have a goodie for you too, but I'm going to save that for last.
Okay. Well, now I'm all excited.
I want to just share a few things because I think it's really important that I'm very passionate about the mission of the American Red Cross in this community, and I think that everybody has a passion deep inside them for what they do, for what drives them to be the best that they can be. You know, for me, it's my grandmother and my mother and my upbringing. I was a candy striper. I always knew that I wanted to help people. And my grandmother always taught me and my mother that if you do good, it comes back to you. And I've been humbled to work for the Red Cross. I consider it an honor. I'm going into my 8th year, and I've received many blessings.
Are you the executive director?
I'm the emergency services director.
And how long have you been in that position for 8 years?
Yes, I have. I have been. I take that back. When I started with the Red Cross, for 1 year, I was actually the disaster services human resources administrator, and in that position I trained and deployed people to travel nationwide to disasters. Then that position it went away, and the chapter absorbed me as the emergency services director. And I now am trained to deploy nationally myself. But we have, yes, my first disaster out of the state of Mississippi was for the 4 hurricanes in Florida. We sheltered in place actually when Hurricane Francis came through in an airport all together.
Well, you know, during that year of those 4 hurricanes, I was an adjuster and was working down there.
Really?
And, of course, went to many homes to write estimates and help people, and was really working shoulder to shoulder with Red Cross volunteers that had done exactly what you were talking about.
And isn't it amazing what a palm tree looks like on your TV screen, and when you fly into an airport and it's actually uprooted out of the ground. That was my first. I got cold chill. I have a cold chill right now talking about it, because each disaster affects you differently, even though you've actually deployed to one. But that disaster was something that was difficult for me. But the tornado in April that hit Yazoo County, I worked in the field. I went over there and worked in the field as a caseworker with a nurse and a storm chaser. And the most amazing thing about some of these deployments is the bond that you get with the other people that you meet. You know, you never lose that. It's something that you'll carry with you for a lifetime.
You have to learn to be strong, I think,
you do.
to see people in the midst of that kind of devastation.
Right. Exactly. You really do. You have to learn how to listen to their story without falling apart with them right then and there. Now, you may do it later, and I'm not going to say that I haven't done that, but that is the reason that the American Red Cross is so tethered to mental health. Mr. Don Brown, actually, I commend him. He's one of our excellent volunteers. Walter Frazier, and I'm going to say Father Michael, I'm truly going to miss him. He has been such an asset. He was on our board to the American Red Cross.
He will be missed by this whole community.
It is
we
a loss.
Him well, but
yes, but it will be a definite loss to this community.
Yes, it will.
But years ago, I thought that we could do a little bit more for our clients that came in from fires, and I felt like a blanket just doesn't provide warmth; it provides comfort. And to see a child take a blanket, or even a mother take a blanket and hold it while they tell your story, tell their story, is just, it makes you really feel good. You feel like you've done more than just say, okay, this is what the Red Cross can do. I get to know all of my clients on a first-name basis. I know where their children go to school before they leave, how many pets they had, and how they came to be in the office before the disaster, But I started.
So you're providing for more than just their actual physical needs.
Yes. Several years ago, I started something that was called the blanket drive. You may have heard of it.
Of course.
And it is of course has really done extremely well over the past years. In fact, so good that I wanted to show you what our local Kiwanis Club does for us. They actually felt like it was so important that they budget $500. And they give us these blankets every October when I started, and Woodman of the World donates for the second year in a row, made a nice financial contribution so that we could ensure that each family member has a blanket. I love to let the children pick out a blanket when they come in. What I wanted to share with you is something that Disney donates to each American Red Cross chapter.
So this is by Disney, and on one side it says, show your character, show your heart, and that's the Disney tag.
Exactly.
And on the other side it says, Disney is proud to support the American Red Cross, and it has your logo on the other side. And they give these for you to give to family members.
Yes, they do.
That is really cute.
It is now, and I love to let the children go and pick them out of the box when they get there. But what's really special is when a parent, a mother, will ask for a Mickey to hold while she tells her story.
It's comfort.
It's comforting to her to hold that Mickey while she tells her story. And
now, what is this bag right here?
this right here is what we would consider a comfort kit, comfort items. What do you see in that bag, Robin?
Well, I see that when I get up in the morning, I brush my teeth, and we have soap and mouthwash. shampoo, and a comb, and some deodorant.
Exactly.
That seems like some pretty necessary items.
That's what we take for granted, right?
Yes, it is. You're right.
Well, these 9 people don't have any of that.
All of it's gone.
Exactly. So even though the American Red Cross provides assistance to help individuals replace the things that they've lost necessity, I think that we can do a little bit more. And in doing so, these are excellent projects for schools,
Sure.
for churches. In fact,
Girl Scouts.
Exactly. I want to tell you a story. Businesses. I want to tell you a story about how I got these bags. Evelyn Parker approached me and said that her youth group at Beaumar Baptist Church wanted a project, and she asked me what I thought, and I said, why don't you give the kids a project, ask them what they would like to do, and then how they'd like to fix them up, and I'll tell you what we need. They wanted to wash cars right over there in the parking lot. I don't know exactly what ages they were, but they were young. They washed cars. Then Evelyn purchased. They bagged these up.
So they washed the cars to raise the money.
Exactly.
To buy the items to put in the bags.
And it not only, they weren't just washing cars, it was actually teaching them at a very young age how we can help others in our community. And I think it's very important that our youth are involved with what we do in this community,
Absolutely.
that they understand what goes on in this community each and every day, because you never know when you or your family is going to be sitting on the other side of that table from me.
That's right. And even if you never are, it's still important to give.
You're exactly right, because you know what? Giving is good for the heart. It's good for the soul.
Yes, I agree.
And anyway, but can you imagine how fast these went? There were 150 of these kits. Do you know, I brought my last one this morning.
Wow, how long did that last?
They didn't last me probably maybe 2 months.
Really?
At the most, because we give every family member one. Okay, today I've given out 9.
Right.
Now, can you imagine from last week's fires and the week before? Just if you look at the demographics of the counties where they're located, all along the river, then you know a lot of times when you have a disaster, a single-family fire, it's the vulnerable that are affected by it.
So you're needing someone to replenish these.
I certainly am, and like I said, they really make they're great projects.
Yeah.
You know, schools, churches, businesses, Girl Scouts. You know, somebody else might have an idea. You know, also.
Right.
Anyway, we're very appreciative of them, and the community is very appreciative. And each person that gets one knows exactly who donated them and how and why we came to get them, and I think it's very important. I think it's very important. We have a good giving community here, Robin.
Yes, we do.
You know that. It doesn't matter economically how hard it is. People always managed to help the people in this community, and that really says a lot for our community. We're actually blessed.
We very much
We're blessed in our community. And I want the individuals in this community to know that we push it right back out to those that need it just as soon as they need it.
We take care of our own.
You're exactly right. And coming from the boonies of the country, I learned that at a very young age.
Now, what part of the boonies were you from?
Copiah County,
Okay.
Gallman, Mississippi. It's on the back side. I was raised out there. I called it a pasture. I mean, there's barbed wire, you know, an electric fence to keep the cows in. To me, that's boonies. Okay, now I can go to Kroger, Walmart, and Zumba. Okay, I need those things now. Okay, but actually, sometimes I really miss the country. I really do. I miss the horses, the cows. You know, we had pet rabbits. I miss that. You know, I really do. I mean, our jelly was homemade. Our vegetables, you know, you didn't go searching at flea markets. The first thing I look for is homemade jelly because, you know, my mother can't do that anymore.
Right.
So.
Well, you have to learn how to do it.
Well,
you have to learn how to make jelly now.
You know what? I can skim it. I just can't do it like Mama. Okay.
We never can do it like Mama.
You know, it took me 5 years to make dressing somewhat near that my mother would approve.
Yeah.
Okay.